Hey, listeners, this is Divya with Michael Griffith. And I want to share with you, as always, I love being with you because you are the heart and soul of the show. So, welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
It's lovely to have you, Michael. Now, I've known you for quite some time, and you're one of the most genuine people that I've had the pleasure to come across. So, Michael, share with us, when you were young, do you recall any fun moments or any moments where you might have got into any trouble?
I'm sure Mum can give you an awful lot more than me, but there is always a moment that sticks out in my mind, and we got to travel a fair bit with Dad's work, and one of the places we lived at for about 5-6 months was Papua New Guinea. And sort of Papua New Guinea in the 80s is sort of rural villages, and I would always get stuck up coconut trees. So I could always get myself up. I could never get myself down. And I remember Mum's famous words of, "Well, if you can climb up, you can climb yourself down." And there was one time where, I don't know, I think I spent probably close to about 4 or 5 hours up that coconut tree that afternoon because I had no idea how I'd get down, and eventually someone came up and got me. So it was always little things like that where I would find ways to get stuck. But growing up was always lovely. I was very much into sports, and being 6'1" when you're already sort of 12 years old, you're very prone to basketball and to those sorts of things. So that pretty much became my life of playing sort of elite level sport before school, went to school, played after school, and that's sort of all I knew was training and playing. So very, very nice ways of being able to come up versus where I think in today's world, it's very much like screen time, and it's very much like being on handheld devices. So I'm very fortunate with my little one, who just loves being out there and kicking the soccer ball and then playing basketball and doing so many physical activities. So it's very nice to be a part of.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I gotta share that sounds so much like, gosh, I used to love climbing trees. And that's one thing I did try climbing a coconut tree, and I couldn't do that. Just had climbed like few feet up. So kudos to you for getting up there. And of course, that's, somebody had to come get you. At least you got up there. So as you continued your life journey, playing basketball and all that, what interest did you have in your teenage years and later in your adult years? Where did you end up?
Yeah. So sort of make it a short story because I feel like it could go on for weeks and weeks. So sort of I was playing elite level basketball over in Australia. We've got Australian AFL, which is a type of football. So I was at sort of the high levels. I was playing in National League when I was only 14, 15 years, some of the youngest person to pretty much ever do so. And I knew nothing else. It was elite training in the mornings. It was school. It was elite trainings in the afternoon. 3 re-knee constructions at sort of 17, 18, 19. And that was the end of me playing. So very much went into the coaching side of things of basketball, became a teacher. So coached elite level basketball, been to 2 Olympic Games as an assistant coach with the Australian women's team with 2 silver medals, coached over in the US collegiate system with University of North Carolina, University of Hawaii, coached National League, which is similar to sort of the WNBA here in the WNBL. So I knew nothing else other than coaching and teaching during the day. And finished up at the University of Hawaii in about 2009 and came back to Australia and went, you know what, I'm sick of the lazy teachers. And that's where I decided to leave teaching and go on and start the first business. And the first business was the tutoring centre, where we provided tutors to people's homes. And back then, people would always have to go to tutoring centres. And I went, no, how do we make it easier for the parents? And in particular, it's usually the mums in the afternoon who was dealing with trying to get the child to the tutoring centre, plus look after the 3 other children and racing around and getting dinner organised and all the rest of the things. How do we make it easy? And we provide tutors to people's homes. So we had over 500 families, 180 tutors that would see families every single week. And from just a little idea, before we knew it, we had a thriving business within 4 or 5 months. Someone came along and bought that, and I just moved into the next one, which was a health product. We built it up to 110,000 customers in literally 6 months. Again, someone else came along, bought that, did exactly the same thing with anti-aging skincare and mineral makeup, which, think about 2010, no one really knew compared to what they know today. But so there became a pattern of find a gap, build it up through leveraging through partnerships and through networks. Someone else would come along and say, hey, can we buy that? And yeah, that's okay. I've no attachment to it. So we fast forward and we're sort of a decade on, and this is the 7th business and sold 6, but this one I can't see being sold. This is the one that I just love and get up at all hours and think about how do we help these business owners just to be able to have a better business, to be able to create the ripple effect, to be able to help more people and make society just a little bit of a better place. So that's sort of the short story of getting through to where we are now.
Well, I love it. It's I like what you shared about finding a gap and filling it. And you shared that you are passionate about this business. You don't see giving it up anytime soon. So what is it about this to share with us? What is it that gets you excited about your current business?
Yeah, I think it's, again, and there's the theme all the way back to coaching under 10s basketball when I was 10. It's you get to see other people fulfill potential. You get to see other people make a difference. You get to see other people make impact and ripple effect. You get to have impact yourself on other people who just do 1 or 2 little things, and all of a sudden they've gone from really struggling to a $10,000 a month business or a $20,000 a month business, or all of a sudden they're at 10, 20, and now they're up to 50, 60, and they've been able to support charities or things that are close to their heart. It just, to think that right now there are people who I'll never meet who have been impacted because of something that I've done to somebody else. And that lights me up to think that there is some village somewhere in a third world country that's getting water or is getting food because one of our clients is now absolutely smashing it, and one of their passions is to be able to help that particular village, to be able to think that now we send sporting goods over to people in Fiji 3 times a year. Well, I couldn't have done that before when we were trying to go, how do we keep a roof over our head? We've got our own foundations which support underprivileged children getting an education as well as rescued animals. I know a lot of our clients have their own things that they support, and to think that all that comes from because of my sort of passion to go, how do we really just help these people have a better business, be wealthier than ever before? Because when you can do that, they can then go and help more people themselves. And that excites me to think that we get to do that. And somewhere over in the middle of goodness knows where, people are having a better life because of the impact we get to have with our people.
I totally get it, because that's what lights me up as well. And just like a little sneak peek into the thing that you were talking about, helping people where you don't even know that you're helping. So profits from my book, Partial Profits, go to KIVA.org. It is KIVA.org. And I always plug it in because they do such a phenomenal job. And you can go and select global globally entrepreneurs, and these can be women in third world countries or anywhere in the world, even in the States itself, because there are a lot of people who are going through tough times, and you share piece of your profit with them, and then you hear their stories. And I gotta tell you, like, I feel so fulfilled when I get the stories from KIVAorg that not only one entrepreneur, but whole villages have stopped taking loans because they've gone from taking loans to becoming independent. And it is so rewarding and fulfilling. I totally get it, Michael. So Michael, you are an expert and authority over helping people network and helping them grow their business and get leads. So usually you talk about the 4 phases. So tell us about the 4 phases that you help people with.
Yeah, and maybe before we go there, I might like picture an iceberg. So if we picture an iceberg, and the tip of the iceberg sort of sits above the water, and then the majority of the iceberg we can't even see; it's underneath the water. Yep. So we've got the iceberg in our head, and I think at the top of the iceberg, people in business right now are stuck in the, well, how do I get clients? What marketing channel should I use? What's the script? What fancy tactic? What technology? Is it about using this tool or that tool, or this software or that software? And we've just got to become more profound in the way we are in business versus the shallow conversation. To me, those things are, do I do Facebook ads or SEO or pay-per-click or go to a network? Honestly, doesn't matter. And that's, we've got to get out of that conversation if we really are going to be able to have great business growth. So we come down and we go, you know what, business really, and it always has been, and as long as there's humans, it'll never change. Business is about relationships. That's it. And if we think that business is about relationships, well, it's about thinking then every day, how do I create profound loyalty with the people around me? Whether that be prospects, clients, our team, suppliers, distributors, referral partners, doesn't matter. How do I create profound loyalty? How do I create overwhelming trust? How do I create deep emotional bonds? And that's what we should be starting to think about and going, okay, what marketing will create those 3 things? What delivery will create those 3 things? What nurturing will create those 3 things? But then I sort of go, it's even more than that. At the bottom of the iceberg, what it really is, if I'm going to get into profound transformation type of things to help someone really grow a business, it's actually, how do we activate extraordinary moments throughout our business? Moments where people just go, wow, I didn't expect that to happen. And not just 1 or 2, but every single moment. So imagine we took our business and we break it down into moments. Right now, you're listening to a podcast, there's a moment. Then you got an email to send, there's a moment. Then you got a phone call to make, there's a moment. Then you're going to work with a client, there's a moment. And how do we take every single moment to activate extraordinary throughout those moments? You see, that's what creates loyalty, trust, and bond within people. That's what gets people to be able to go, have you seen this person? Have you spoken to this person? And talk about you, promote you, share you. It's not about the things at the top of, do I do this or this? And I get today in particular that you've got thousands of people every single day on your social platforms saying, do this and do that and do this, and here's this tactic, and here I can get you from $0 to $10,000 in 30 days type of garbage. I rarely feel that if you're going to grow your business, besides what we've just spoken about and getting deeper on that, There are 4 things that business is about. That's it. Everything else falls under these 4 things. You need to have a way to attract, and not just attract anybody, attract people who have the pain point that you solve and who are looking for a solution. Then you need a way to be able to nurture. See, most people nurture to sell. Most people nurture to go, well, how do I get you to buy my stuff? But we need to be able to nurture to deepen relationships. Because when you nurture to deepen relationships, you speed up the process of somebody actually wanting to work with you. There's only 4 reasons why someone works with you, and it doesn't even happen on a conscious level. See, everything we do, we talk so much about the limbic brain, and our programs are called the limbic advantage. So you've got the cortex brain. It's boring, it's logical, it's rational. It's where most business owners sit 97% of their day. Okay, right now, it understands language. You're listening to me and you're going, oh, that all makes sense. That's the cortex brain taking whatever you're feeling and rationalizing it with words. But the limbic brain doesn't understand any of the words that I'm saying. It doesn't understand language. It is only feeling based. But the limbic brain controls all human behavior. It controls all decisions that you make. So when you think about that, everything right now, you might be justifying and going, oh, I love this podcast. It's a feeling that you're getting before you can actually say that. And I don't know what's creating that feeling, but always we do things off the limbic brain. So to think, imagine if we could limbic brain our whole business. And that's what excites me. So come back to there's only 4 things, and it happens in the limbic brain. For someone to be able to do anything with you, whether that's become prospect to client, whether that's client to stay with you longer, whether that's someone to go out and refer you, whether it's someone to go and talk about you and promote you and share you, they've got to resonate with you. That's number 1. Then they can respect you and what you do and how you do it is number 2. You need to be able to inspire them in some way, number 3. And they need to be able to see how you make their life better, number 4. And unless those 4 things happen, no one will ever do anything with you or for you. Now, we don't sit there with a little checklist and go, oh, yes, I resonate with you, tick. Now I can respect you, tick. It's a feeling. It happens in the limbic brain. It happens in the subconscious. It happens like that, where you just go, and you've probably had people say to you yourself, where they've just gone, you know what, I don't know what it is, but I just love working with you. I don't know what it is, but I love being around you. And they can't know what it is. That is the limbic brain working at its best, because it's telling that person, hey, this is the right place for you. And what I say to our partnership club guys all the time, if you feel this is the home for you, you're right. And that's all it can be, feel. You can justify it and you can make whatever logic and rational language around it that you want. But the decision's already been made. It was made a long time ago over in the other part of the brain. So we've got to be able to attract, nurture, enroll, and deliver, understanding that there's 4 things: resonate, respect, inspire, make my life better, that the other person is subconsciously always looking for. So again, it doesn't matter whether this is a prospect, whether it's a client, whether it's a team member, whether it's some sort of partner, whether it's with your wider networks. When you start thinking like that, and you start becoming a little bit more profound to how do I build loyalty, trust, deep emotional bonds? How do I activate extraordinary moments in my business? Then all of a sudden now, you're so much further down the path than the people who just go, well, should I be doing this tactic or that strategy or this thing? Because it's not the thing that actually ever matters. It's the thinking behind the thing to be able to ensure you get those 4 things. How will this help me resonate with them? How will this help me be respected by them? How will this inspire them? How will this make their life better? And that's the thinking that needs to be behind attract, nurture, enroll, and deliver.
Very powerful. And this definitely lines up with the fact that people make decisions emotionally and justify it logically later on. And as you're talking about limbic brain, that definitely fits in as to how people connect with each other and what people do. So you have talked about the 4 important things and thinking about it. So do you have any strategies and tactics that can help people do those 4 things?
Yeah, there's certainly plenty of frameworks around it. I think the big thing that we talk about is how do you go from where there's sort of 4 phases, not phases as such, there's 4 places where a business owner is at right now. If you picture a triangle, at the bottom of the triangle is what we call the red zone, the transactional zone, where people run their business from a transactional point of view. It's like, how do I get clients? How do I win? What's the script I need to use? And I get it that people in that transactional zone are there because of fear. And our brain is given to us to help us survive. So it keeps us in fear zone. It goes, how are you going to get your next client? How are you going to pay the bill? How are you going to keep a roof over your head? How are you going to put food on the table? That's the brain doing what it's supposed to do and helping you survive. But it keeps business owners in that transactional way of thinking. The next level up, which is sort of the yellow zone, is what I call process driven. And I reckon this is where probably 90% of people sit in, where it's about, let me do this thing to tick the box. Let me do this thing to achieve the outcome. Let me put up content for the sake of putting up content. Let me add value to others because in the end, I know that will help me. Like it's all very process driven. And the thing of when we're process driven is we're generally doing things in the cortex brain. So it's uninspiring, it's unmotivating, it's unengaging. And in the end, it's a complete waste of time. When I look at, and I'll take something that most people see every single day, social media content, 99% of it is just an absolute load of crap. And it's because people are doing it from a process-driven point of view. It's like, oh, I've got a post on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What can I put up today? Oh, there it is, done, tick. Well, if it doesn't get someone to resonate with you, to therefore respect you, to therefore be inspired by you, to therefore see how you make their life better, then there was no point. You may as well put up nothing. So it's about being able to go, that red zone's transactional, that yellow zone's process driven. The green zone in the triangle is what I'd call leader driven. Now, there's lots of people, and there are probably a lot of people in my world, because people who are similar sort of hang around with each other, who are leader driven. So a leader driven person goes, well, it's about connection. I have this connection mindset. It's about relationships. It's about creating relationships. It's about this overall marketing approach rather than just simply, how do I sell to someone? How do I be a hunter? So a leader-driven person, really good spot to be. But there's one more, and this is where everyone should try to get to. I call it the super green zone at the top of the triangle, exponential. It's about how do you evoke brain chemicals in other people. And I'm not going to get into it, but if you haven't heard of the words dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, go use Google. Right? Because those 3 brain chemicals we have to have every single day. Why do you love the snow, the beach, the winter, the summer, the mountains, the fresh air, whatever it is that lights you up in any of those? It's because it provides you with dopamine. We have to go back every single day to something that's giving us dopamine. Oxytocin, why do you enjoy and love being with your partner or your family? It's because of the brain chemical oxytocin. So to think that if you could brain chemical your business and your relationships, you're taking this to this whole exponential level that we're talking about. If you could actually do things from heartfelt rather than just relationship, is completely different level in terms of how you get someone to resonate, respect, be inspired by you. If you have this enchanter way of thinking, not this just how do I connect, but how do I not only connect, but then blow them away by what I'm willing to do, be with them in this relationship. And that, to me, that's understanding that framework, then understands what you should do next. So here you can see it really different in that you can use whatever strategy, whatever tactic, whatever thing you want to use. It's the thinking behind that which will actually determine whether it's of any good or not. And that's what I'd really love for people to start really digging deeper into, rather than going, oh, my Facebook ads aren't working, or should I do SEO or not? Because honestly, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is actually having the thinking behind, okay, if I'm going to do Facebook ads, I need to make sure that this is going to get them to resonate with me, get them to respect me, get them to be inspired by me, get them to realize I can make their life better, get them to be able to bond with me, get them to be able to create loyalty with me. Like, that needs to be the thinking behind everything that we do in business. And that's where our business starts to become that little bit more extraordinary than what it is, because we just do things different to everybody else. So long-winded answer to the question, but that to me is how my thinking goes around that first, rather than just going, go do that tactic or go use that script. Because I can give that, but if you don't have the thinking right around it, it's not going to do anything for you anyway.
Well, I totally agree with you, Michael, because it's the mindset, it's the thinking that helps. Because so many times what happens is that people don't see themselves as the answer to other people are seeking. And when you don't have that, then it's very hard to bring in that transformation. So as you're talking, listeners, a piece preceding to that is also important, that you recognize that you have the experience, you have lived your life that nobody has lived, and you have the answers to some of the problems that your audience may be experiencing it. So share with them and come from a place of service and heart, that what mistakes you made, and if you share with others, it will prevent them from making the similar mistakes. And when you help them not make those mistakes with an intention of caring and service coming from a place of heart, that bond automatically happens. So let's say like people have formed that bond. How can they continue to nurture those relationships?
So it's sort of someone's forgotten about every 45 days. So it's not about going, well, I'll do this on day 3 and this on day 10. It's already anchored in us from when we were kids. We know how to build relationships. We know how to make friends. We know how to be friends. We know how to just go back to how you were when you were a kid and do things that, like the technical answer is create oxytocin in them day in, day out. The really simple answer is be a decent human being and actually care about the other person.
Absolutely.
No harder than that.
That is so powerful. And you have shared some very powerful nuggets over here. Now we have talked about creating the experiences. How can people take it and expand it so that they're forming relationships with other people that in the long run can help them grow their business?
Yeah. So relationships. So business is about relationships, without a doubt, but it's not even so much just the relationship that matters. It's more about, if I take a step back from the relationship, it's understanding the sorts of people that you work with and who else has those people. Then it's understanding where can you go and find the sorts of relationships that you want. Then you can start getting into, well, how can I help somebody else who can then help me? What's their driver? So there's a lot behind just simply how do we build the relationship. But I think the starting point needs to be, and for listeners here, like the fastest way to be able to grow a business is to be able to leverage through other people's networks, to be able to create partnerships with other people. Now, and most people think, well, for someone to be able to help me, I'll just pay them and then they'll be able to help me. And like when someone says to me, oh, and if you can do this for us and we'll help you financially, it turns me off faster than anything else because it's not my driver. It's not why I do it. So I think what we've got to make sure is that if you actually just focus on helping someone else in a way that excites them, then you're evoking those brain chemicals in them that we've sort of spoken about briefly, in that they'll want to do things for you. And most people don't come from that. Most people come from the, well, this is what I need position, rather than a, hey, how can I just help you position, knowing that the rest will be looked after. So probably one of the big mistakes in terms of forming relationships and keeping them is that we just get too busy and life gets in the way. And then before we drop the ball. So decide if this is a way you want to grow your business through leveraging through other people's networks, that you're going to have to be good at just following up and touching base and reaching out and saying hello. And it's not going to bring you in money this very moment. So it's really easy then for your survival brain to be able to go, oh, but we need to go do a different activity. This isn't working. It's not a short-term game. It's a game that needs to last the life of your business. So I think all of that has to be really understood to be able to go, hey, you're in it for a long haul if building a business through relationships is what you want to do. But it, without a doubt, is to me one of the best ways to grow a business, because I see it every single day. I can't run Facebook ads anymore because Facebook just shut down my account. Oh, well, your business is stuffed. I'm not on the front page of Google anymore because of the changing algorithms. Oh, well, that's the end of your business. We were using a marketing group and they just disappeared on us. Oh, well, that's the end of your business. See, I'm really big in making sure that whatever I do in business, I'm in control of. And this is the one thing you're always in control of, is relationships with other people.
Absolutely. Very powerful. And there's so many different ways, as you said, people can grow their business, but this is long game. And when you play that long game, you don't look at short-term investment of either, whether it's energy, time, or money. You're playing. And just like, you talked about basketball and you talked about coaching. And folks, if you take a look at any of the Olympian athletes or pro athletes or even basketball athletes or any sportsmen and sportswomen, what you find is that they continuously invest that time and energy in themselves. It's a continuous drill every single day. So it's not like you go and then you stop it. So very powerful nuggets here, Michael. Thank you so much. And how can people connect with you? And if you would like to share anything else with our listeners, please, we'd love to hear that.
Now, probably the easiest way is just find us, www.michaelgriffiths.com.au. From there, join us on any social platforms. We've got 3 videos a week going up on YouTube, plenty of free resource, plenty of videos, plenty of guides. So michaelgriffiths.com.au, and you can pick your own adventure from there.
Well, fantastic. And would you like to share with the listeners anything that you're doing right now and they benefit from?
But again, from that site, you'll find we always have collaboration pods. We've got summits. We've got masterclasses that are always happening. So depending on when you're listening, there's no point saying we've got one on this particular date because you might be listening at it past there. But you'll always find the next one. Just pop over to the site.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Michael. And thank you, listeners, because without you, this show would not be possible. Reach out to us. Let us know what can we bring for you so that we can help you live your lives with more joy and grow your business and have more happiness. So until next time, take care and be well.